What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about the Mindy dream theory for Scream 6, this teaser trailer. So we've talked about this a few days ago, right? In terms of Mindy's attack during the teaser trailer, and that no matter what, whether it's a dream or PTSD or something else, it happens removed from the rest of them, right? It's actually, in my opinion, very, very clever that a pretty straightforward, like 50-second visual teaser in terms of what we actually see is around 50 seconds, and they blend it and they're, splicing it up to make it seem like just one, everything happens in that order, when obviously there's going to be some different stuff that's going on. So I give them a lot of credit for the depth that a 1 minute teaser trailer actually has. But in terms of Mindy, one of the first things that people had said is it's a dream. This is like a dream sequence that she's having. And then there's other people talking about maybe PTSD that, she seems to be going through. And I had mentioned that too, in terms of like if you believe it's an actual attack, right? Because you look at like her face, and originally it seems like she's just kind of like skeptical of what's going on, right? She's kind of sussing the situation out, and then it progressively gets worse, and she starts to get more alarmed up until the point where, Ghostface grabs her. So you have all that. And so the question is like, those three options, right? Is it real? And I guess, is it real? Well, that could still be too, right? So is it real and it's all in her head? And that would be the PTSD-like elements from the events of 5. And then also, is it real, like it's actually happening? And then the other one removed from, I guess, reality is, is she just sleeping and dreaming these things? I want to believe it's real, okay? I want to believe it's real. I think it's real. There is some people talking online. I'm not gonna, for these like theorizing videos, there are people talking about facts, like they say it as fact on Twitter and stuff. I'm gonna try to completely like remove myself from it, because I do want to kind of go into this movie clean. And if I do read that stuff, I'll talk about it, and I would put it into theories in separate videos, right? I kind of want to make these ones more like pure. I do want to believe it's real. And the dreaming thing, it's not even necessarily a great defense against it, but one of the things you notice, and I've pointed this out, is when Ghostface grabs her and you look behind Ghostface, there's like the one shot where it shows Ghostface. There are still people behind. I mean, like, yes, in a dream, if you're being attacked, there could still be other things going on. So it's not a great defense, but I do believe just because she's there, because other people are there, I do believe it's a real thing that's actually, happening. Now, I will say this, though. I like the idea that she could be experiencing things. And it's not necessarily new for Scream, right? Because we have Scream 3 is all about, Sydney's, mental problems, really, that's going on throughout the entire movie. And they do it really, really well. So this wouldn't be the first time, but also this adds, I think, a lot of depth to the characters that we had in 5 that didn't have a lot of depth in 5. And one thing that is floating around online is Chad. That Chad is, I think Viewer Anon had said, like, Chad is kind of like the low-key, like, you don't really see it coming, but he's kind of like the heart of the entire movie. And reading that or seeing that, the first thing I think of is, oh, are they going to actually have some sort of pain and his loss of Liv, right? And this is, again, like what we have talked about for about a year now, right? That I think it would be a nice little added depth to these characters to kind of carry over some things from the last one. And Mindy and Chad honestly are really big, like problems is probably too direct or too mean, but they are two big people that you need to add to for this next movie to really like evolve their characters. And you have really great ways for both of them. Again, we've talked about that, right? For Chad, there is no depth to him in Scream 5, but for this, you have him and Mindy, which you could do a lot of, and then and because both of them nearly died. Now Chad got a lot closer to almost dying, right? But you both of them nearly died. They are twins. They should love each other, and they should act like some sort of form of brother and sister, which really they didn't act like that in 5. And then you also have him losing his girlfriend that he literally accused of being Ghostface, and that was the last time they were together. And then when everything kind of came back, he was like on the edge of death, and she did die, right? So you have a lot of things there that you can add to Chad, almost like retroactively, and same thing for Mindy. So I like the idea of her experiencing PTSD. If you want to go down that road for what's happening here, I'd be totally fine with it. The dream thing, I think, is the well, like, I mean, I guess they're all equally likely, right? But I think the dream thing is like the last thing that I would want of those three groups. I think I would prefer it to be real. That would be my number one. And then number two, I'd prefer it to be, PTSD, because I do like that idea. And I know some people had thrown in, and it's a valid point, like, the first trailer we got for 5. Now, that was a more legitimate, like, full-length, trailer. This was a teaser trailer. But in that trailer, I mean, they spoiled quite a bit. But they also showed, Chad being injured. And they also showed Mindy, right, kind of like holding the knife with, like, the blood on her shoulder. So, like, this is not the first time. In fact, they're almost, like, replicating it, where Mindy seems to be in danger in the first time you see her in both of the, both of these films or both of the trailers. So that's it. Like a running theme. Now, does that mean she makes it out of this movie alive? I don't know. I mean, we've talked about it many times. I do easily think one of the two, of Chad or Mindy, dies. Maybe even both. But I would really, I don't know, like a betting app, I would put maybe money on one of the two dying. I really think it's likely. But I do think it's gonna be real. I guess the thing that maybe makes it not real to some people would probably be like the glass and all the stuff that's happening behind her. That will be interesting, and I guess it'll be interesting to see if we see that scene ever again in any teaser, trailer, or TV spot as we get, closer to the movie releasing. But as of now, I'm going to just kind of lock it in that I do believe that is a real attack. Now, I believe it's a real attack separate from the group. There is, I think, a growing theory that it's not even the same time period. That one's interesting. I will say, thinking about it, right? I was thinking about, okay, well, the Kirby is in it, but she's not shown, right? But you see like her shoulder and her hair, right? So you see that. So there are a lot of missing scenes. And one of the things I was talking about, I think on Craven Something Scary and Night Watch Zone, I was talking with them, and then also on my own videos, and I was saying, all right, well, like when Sam says like guys, and they all look very, like, again, there's an escalation, right? They seem like they're like suspecting something's going down, and then they seem to be like genuinely like nervous about something. And then, but most of it then after that goes to Mindy. But I do think there's missing scenes because I just don't think Ghostface like standing up. I mean, yes, maybe standing up, walking close to him. I know I've suggested maybe like a knife drops from like Ezio, or like an Assassin's Creed thing where like the blade comes out. Maybe something like that happens with Ghostface where that starts to, escalate things. So there are missing scenes there. It's possible Mindy's attack, and the reason I bring that up is that maybe that's not even the same like area, right? Like maybe that's just a different scene in the movie. Maybe that's early. Like if it's PTSD, it could be early on in the movie. It doesn't have to be, like at the same time that these guys are getting on. Also, I have a feeling maybe not chased. Maybe they weren't chased, but they do generally seem almost like out of breath or like pretty nervous already in the very beginning of that scene. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they saw something and they ran into the train. Like they were maybe like the last people on, gates closed, and they're kind of like catching their breath and trying to like, figure out the situation. It kind of gives me that vibe. So that could be another reason why they are so skeptical of everything going on. And again, Mindy, I think, would make sense there. All were rushed onto the train. Maybe they all saw something before, and then they went on. And for some reason, Mindy is separated from, maybe like it was full and she had to go, to another one. I don't know. But there's definitely, obviously, there's more to that scene in general. But again, I do believe it's a real thing. But PTSD is a great idea, great theory, and even a dream thing. Like, I get it. I don't think they'll do it because I think, like, if you do a dream, you might as well just do PTSD, which would be more, and I guess PTSD, again, she would be awake. She would literally be living it, and she would just be imagining the entire thing happening, versus dreaming, she literally is just, like, in her bed sleeping. You see, like, a shot of her sleeping, and then it, like, flashes to a train. I don't really think that works. So I think she's actually living it, and then the question is it all in her head what's happening, or is it actually real? I'm going to say it's actually real. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I'll see you all on the next one.